Let's go back to 2013, which was a monumental year for game releases. We saw games like GTA 5, Tomb Raider, Saints Row 4 and Call of Duty Ghost. But also within that year was one of the most influential games of the 21st century, and that is of course The Last of Us. Now The Last of Us was a survival horror game developed by Naughty Dogs and later published by Sony. Now the game on paper doesn't sound too extravagant. Two main characters that over time develop a relationship in a post-apocalyptic world. Now on paper this just sounds like a cliche zombie survival game, but it was much more than that. The game begins by introducing you to the main character of the game, and his name is Joel. Now I don't want to give any spoilers away for people that haven't not actually played the game. However, people that have played the game would understand that them first 15 minutes of the first part of The Last of Us is probably the most impactful, most emotional gaming that you've ever had. Now something that actually almost disappointed me initially when I played this game was the fact that it fast forwards you so far into the future right from the get-go. However, it would slowly come to correct itself and reassure the player that this skip in time was definitely needed. The game then throws you into the realistic day-to-day living of a post-apocalyptic life. And I appreciate that they've not gone for the cliche zombie coming back to life storyline. They've gone for a disease which doesn't necessarily kill the host, but it transforms them into a brainless, destroying, killing monster that's only desire is to spread its infection and carry this plague across to the rest of the world. It's different, it's unique, it's not been seen before, and that I absolutely love. It was absolutely bloody terrifying at the same time. And then shortly after trying to gather some weapons, you bump into this second main character, Ellie. Now, Ellie's and Joel's relationship from the get-go is not good. It's very poor, it's completely day and night compared to the relationship which Joel had with his daughter Sarah, as everyone saw 30 minutes prior. And I really like what the writers have done with the development of Joel's character. It doesn't throw it in your face, it doesn't have monologues of Joel saying that he's still affected by the death of his daughter or that he's afraid to form new relationships. The game just begins to show you that although it's been over a decade, Joel is still absolutely crushed over what happened with his daughter. And it makes you almost relate to how Ellie must feel. It makes you almost feel sorry for Ellie to think, why is Joel being so cruel to her? She has no idea. He's not speaking about Sarah. The only information she knows from Sarah is from other people. And this again brilliantly makes the player read between the lines and it doesn't throw it in your face. And then over the course of the game you start to slowly see Joel coming out his shell and opening up to Ellie and almost forming a relationship which resembles what he had with his daughter. Although you can see there are definitely times where he's almost having to remind himself not to get so attached because he knows how cruel this world is and how absolutely destructive it could be if something were to say happen to Ellie. And I really appreciate what the writers did with this. They didn't go for the easy option which they were originally going to go with, which was going to be have Joel and Ellie related. So that could have been Joel as the dad and Ellie as the daughter. They've done this perfectly, which gives a natural flow to the character's development. Now if there were dad and daughter, there would be restrictions because they've got that relationship there and there are boundaries set in place. However, with Joel and Ellie, you have no idea where it's going to go, which is brilliant. Now steering away from the characters and relationships, as I've already voiced my opinion of that, another great thing about this game is the action and the actual gameplay. Now, this game, it makes you feel like you're in an open world game, although you're clearly not, you're restricted by a path that you have to take. But the beautiful landscapes and how open the actual world is gives me that sensation. Now, I come from absolutely loving and adoring playing games such as Skyrim and Fallout and GTA, which are all open world games, because I like that open feel of it. I liked not feeling restricted, and The Last of Us never at any point made you feel restricted. It never made you feel like you have to do one objective or you have to kill this enemy or you have to avoid this clicker. It always gives you the option where you can do multiple different choices, which is brilliant. It's that three-dimensional gameplay, and I can't think of any other alternative which I think would work as good as how the final outcome came. And then you're left with the peak relationship between Joel and Ellie. They started as almost foes and now they've come to be as close as father and daughter. You see them share this connection and you see Joel opening up and treating Ellie as if it was his daughter Sarah. It's a beautiful way of how it's switched around. Ellie's obviously very closed off after what's happened and Joel's been there for her like a father. And then this brings you to the end of the game, which is the most action-packed of it all, and it gives Joel the ultimatum of what to do. Does he go with his heart or go with his head? And I think how it's played out and carried out is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm usually very critical when it comes to games. There's a lot of games that I've played which I will love, but I'll also pick flaws of it. Now, The Last of Us, me personally, is the only game that I play and can't think of any flaws. Like, even if I sit here for half an hour, which I've done, and I'm trying to think of flaws for this video, I can't think of any. The only flaw I would maybe mention is the ending. But am I actually really upset of the ending? Or am I just upset that there was an ending? Because you'll know yourself, when you get so engrossed in anything, whether it's a TV series, a movie, or a video game, you're sad when it ends. I would comfortably put The Last of Us Part 1 as one of my top 3 favourite games. Now, I didn't actually play the game when it first came out in 2013. I played it during the first lockdown. So this is maybe why I'm coming off as a bit biased, because during lockdown you're desperate to find some entertaining, and if it's not Warzone, it's The Last of Us. This is maybe why I'm being biased. But what do you guys think? Did any of you guys play it when it first came out? Have some of you not played it yet? Have some of you still currently playing through it? Let me know what you think of it. I'm hoping I haven't spoiled too much of it. I'm hoping you all love the game as much as I do. Now, unfortunately, the same couldn't be said for The Last of Us Part 2. However, that's for a completely different video. And now we've got to the end of the video. I just want to say thank you so much for coming this far. It honestly really means a lot to me. See you later.